Okay, so time to replace this with the new one. I think I'm just going to take the cap off while it's loose, and take this off the handlebars, take the cap off, and just tilt it down and let it drain into something, like this Tupperware thing. And then I'll take it off of here, and then put the new one on. And I'm not going to worry about the brake fluid in the lines, because the brake fluid that's in here is, less than a year old, so it's pretty good. Then I'll put the new one on, put this on, get it all set up, add the fluid, and then go about bleeding it. And on this bike, I find the best way to bleed it is just to open up this bleeder valve here, put a hose on it into a bucket, and just let it drain for an hour or two, and it'll slowly come out. And I just keep the reservoir topped, and after about an hour, hour and a half, when I feel I've added enough fluid that it's gone through the lines completely, generally that's plenty, and it's pretty stiff, so it works pretty good. So it's worked in the past. I see no reason it shouldn't work going forward. So I'm gonna need both hands, and the tripod's not available, so I don't really have anywhere to set it up, the camera up. So I'm just gonna do it and then come back. Okay, so far so good. It's on. I have this on. This banjo. It goes at an angle here, but it's all right. It'll be fine. It's still loose, so it's not super tight here or anything. It seems like this is sealed pretty good. We'll know. I made sure that the hole that's drilled in here in this bolt is straight up and down, so that the hole in the bolt lines up with this tube. It's not strictly necessary, because inside of this, inside of here is concave, so oil can flow around. But I just like the fact that it's open from in the reservoir through here and down, so nothing's impeding it, if you will. So I'll put the handle on, fill it up with some oil, and be back in a few. Okay, so that's the oil that came out. I meant to show you that before. Not that it matters, but you can see it's pretty clean. The container it's in is actually dirtier than the oil. So anyway, so got the lever on. As you can see, I painted it to match the clutch. Yeah, I painted this too 3 years ago, and it's still not worn through, so I don't have a problem with that. Although I do want to replace this and this, now that I have a more modern version of this, with some new anodized aluminum, maybe gold, or I don't know, some other color accent that might accent it. I don't know. I'm looking. We'll have to see. Worst cases, I'll go with gold. But as much as I like these, the newer ones just have a better feel to them. Like I said, I don't really use the front brake, but the clutch, if we could focus, this one would be nice to have a bigger, beefier one that's maybe not curved out, that's a little shorter, maybe even. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, back to this. Now, it's going to fill this up with some brake fluid, and all right. So we're all set. Start draining it. Oil's in there. It's full. It's nice and firm right up to there. So plenty of travel. I can hear the caliper moving, so we're good there. So what I did was, I have this Harbor Freight, I don't know, it was like $6 or something for this. So I thought, well, what the heck, I'll hook it up. And son of a gun, if it didn't work, great. Just hooked the hose to the bleeder, pumped it up until it was about 60 on the gauge. I don't know if that's PSI or what, but can't be bothered right now. And then just cracked this open, and it just started flowing out, and you can see filled that up quite nicely. So it bled a lot. I would be surprised if there were any air bubbles in this line. So next thing, put the cap on and call it good, huh? So that's the final product. That's what it looks like. No leaking. Looks good. It's a little bigger than I wanted, but it works. So if you're thinking of doing this, it's real simple. Two 10mm bolts here, a 12 here. It's really all you need. There are many ways to bleed the brakes. That $5 Harbor Freight thing worked like a charm, but you know, you could just as easily do what I do. Just put a hose on the bleeder screw and just let it drain. That works as well too. But yeah, so for $20, pretty impressive. Chinese, but actually very well made, I gotta say. The washers and the bolt that comes with this, beautiful. I had a little trouble getting the threads to thread in straight because this is at an angle, but that's the only issue I had with it. And if you want to take the handle off and replace it with a better one, because this is just kind of a crap handle, but it's a regular screwdriver for the top, and then there's a 10mm bolt in the bottom, and you're good to go. And it's a nylon lock washer, so it's not going to come off anytime soon. And then to fill it, just remove the two Phillips screws up here, and you're all set. So, you know, I'm not really doing these videos for as a how-to. There's hundreds of them out there. I'm more doing it just to get comfortable with the camera and the software and whatever. But hey, if you got anything from it, great. But that's it for today. That's all I really have time for. But I think maybe next weekend start taking the exhaust off and wrapping those. The clutch is still in back order, but the clutch kit. But I figure it's going to take me a while to get the all 4 pipes and the collector wrapped the way I'd like them. So, so I think by the time I get that done, do the drain the oil and take the oil filter off, and you know, it'll be another week or two before I get to the clutch. So hopefully by then it'll be in. We'll just have to see how it goes. But so far so good. Things are working out pretty good. And then, you know, we'll go from there. I also might want to get some Honda stickers to go here. I'm still not sure if I'm going to repaint that or not, but so far so good.